Greetings, barbecue family. This is Kenyatta Robinson. Welcome back to another live streamed of the Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue podcast. Happy Friday to everyone. Hope you all are doing well. As we get started, I'd like to welcome everyone who is tuning in live to join in with the comments. Leave a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. If this is your first time watching, thank you for tuning in. If you are a repeat watcher, of course, I always thank you for your continued ongoing support. And again, I like to make it very interactive. Basically, the entire podcast, it really thrives off of the comments, the feedback that I get from the live viewing audience. But if you are tuning in on a replay, I appreciate that as well. And you can always tune into us on your favorite podcast streaming, or rather your favorite podcast service, wherever you tend to consume your podcast. So today we are streaming live on the YouTube, Facebook, and for the first time, we're also streaming live on our website, backyardsmokemaster.com. So if you forget where to find us on Facebook or YouTube, you can just go to the website to tune in live from there. I'm riding solo this evening, so no Janine. Hopefully she'll be on next week's podcast. Also, my moderator Erin is doing some stuff at her university, so she's unable to moderate. So I'm doing it all by myself tonight. So bear with me, if I look a little discombobulated at certain moments, but hopefully everything will go smoothly. So recently, we just put up a new video on the YouTube channel, and basically it was about pellets. And I thought that this would be a good opportunity to kind of have a follow-up conversation about pellet smokers. Most of my videos, we generally don't do that many videos on pellet smokers, pellet grills. Most of them, I think, have tended to be around charcoal-based cookers like the Weber Summit Kamado, my newest acquisition, the Weber Smoky Mountain. Of course, my channel really got its legs around the delivery of my Lone Star Grills offset smoker. So got a lot of videos about that. And actually, I do need to start making some more videos featuring my stick burner as well. But, pellet smokers also have a place, in the barbecue spectrum. The positives about pellet smokers is that, they're convenient. They're easy to use. Probably more than any other, they marry technology with barbecue. They have these electronic controllers where you can just punch in the desired temperature that you wanted your food to cook at. And, the pellet smoker will do the work for you. It'll make adjustments with its auger, feeding those pellets. The pellets will feed into the auger, and then it does the work of making moderations to the temperature as you go, and basically does a really good job. Like, let's say you want to smoke at 250 degrees, a really good pellet smoker will be able to, won't necessarily keep it exactly at 250 all the way. It may dip down to 230, 225, might rise up to 270, 275, but it'll do a good job at keeping your average temperature around 250, which may be where you want it. So that's the advantage, and they're just really easy to use. So if you're looking to get your start in barbecue, that might be a way to go. And then even if you already have other charcoal cooker, like other charcoal cookers, other stick burners, sometimes you may not just have that time necessary to, babysit your smoker. Maybe you're distracted. You need to deal with other things. Maybe it's a late night. You're getting a late start on dinner and you want to, get something out on the grill or the smoker. That's where having a pellet smoker can really come in handy. The convenience and just really easy to use. On the flip side, I think one of the big disadvantages to having a pellet smoker is the smoke profile. I think it's pretty well known that, the smoke that's generated from a pellet grill or a pellet smoker generally is not going to be on the same level as the smoke that's generated when you're using a charcoal-based cooker. That would be probably one of the big disadvantages. So, if you're really looking for, a heavy smoke profile or a really strong, noticeable smoke profile, that might be where you end up being, coming off a little bit disappointed, off of the smoke flavor that you might get off of a pellet smoker, especially if you're comparing it to the smoke flavor that you get off of, let's say, a Kamado Joe or your Weber kettle or PK 360. It's not going to compare, and it's definitely not going to compare at all with the smoke profile that you might get off of a stick burner. Just absolutely, completely no comparison in that sense. Another disadvantage to a pellet smoker is, it's electric. So you have to be near or have to have some type of electrical outlet nearby. You need to have access to electricity. So in that way, you're a little bit more tethered, I guess is a good way to put it. Although there are some portable pellet smokers around, you still need to account for, being able to power it. And then the fact that it is based around, dependent on electronics and electrical components, there are more things that can go wrong, that can break down on a pellet smoker. So there may be some more instances where, you may need to do some type of minor repair yourself, or maybe you need to get some kind of warranty service with a pellet smoker. These are the types of issues that you generally don't have when you're cooking with a charcoal-based grill or smoker. You're not having to worry about moving parts or things like that breaking down on you. So that would be, another disadvantage. So let me know, in the comments if you guys, if you do have experience using a pellet smoker, if you have both a pellet smoker, a charcoal-based smoker, what would be your preference, or if you have a favorite pellet smoker. Love to hear in the comments what you all are using at home, or maybe you're thinking about, getting a new grill or smoker. Are you considering a pellet smoker or not? So, as I mentioned, we just did a video where we took a look at a company that I had never heard of. And let me just start off by saying, this podcast episode is not sponsored by that company. But, for the video, they did send me a sample of their product. I reached out to them. The company's called Smokin' Pecans. And what caught my attention about the company is that they talk about how their pellets, unlike traditional pellets, their pellets are made entirely from pecan shells. And what they promote is the fact that because it is made from the shells, they're saying that their pellets tend to have a stronger smoke profile than what you might get from traditional pellets. And traditional pellets are usually made from like compressed sawdust. And like I said, for the most part, most pellets are known to have a very light smoke profile. So that was something that really caught my attention about this company, and I wanted to check them out. So I did do this video where I compared the smoke that I was getting from using the smoking pecans to kind of a traditional pecan pellet that you might buy at a store. And that's where I kind of get to, you know, the topic for today's subject or today's podcast, kind of the unspoken secret about most of the pellets that you do buy commercially. Usually, you know, you go to the store, you might see a bag of pellets, and, you know, there's a good variety and they're pretty easy to get. You might see on the bag that it's cherry. It might say cherry pecan or cherry pellets, or it might say apple pellets, pecan pellets, hickory. The secret is, in most cases, what's stated on the bag is not entirely what you're getting on the inside. So the vast majority of pellets are mostly made from oak or alder with maybe a percentage of what it says on the bag. So a lot of times you'll see, you know, you'll see things like it will say pecan pellets, and then when you really look closely at the descriptions, you'll see that it's made from some type of a blend, and it might say all natural hardwood blend, competition blend. You see a lot of wording like that. And when I took a closer look at exactly what these blends are, like I said, most of the time it was a combination. It could be a combination of oak and pecan, or if the bag is supposed to be cherry, it might be oak and cherry. And the secret is what you don't know, and what's really difficult to find out is exactly what is the percentage, what's the percentage composition of these wood types. So it could be 60% oak, 40% pecan. It might be 80% oak, 20% pecan. Maybe it's 50-50. Maybe only 10% of it is made from pecan wood. So that's kind of the secret, the part that, you know, that you don't really know. And when you really, you know, you think you're getting, you know, that cherry wood or that apple smoke flavor, you're not really getting as much of an authentic cherry, apple, or whatever it may be that you were expecting to get when you bought the bag. So what really attracted me about Smokin' Pecan's brand is that it's, you know, they state that their pellets are made 100% from pecan shells. So I thought that was pretty cool, and I wanted to put it to the test, you know, to see, you know, is there a noticeable difference in the smoke profile between using Smokin' Pecan. I put it up against a bag of Traeger pecan pellets that I picked up. So is there a noticeable difference between the two? And then more importantly, when it came to the taste test, is there a difference? You know, could we detect, you know, a difference in the smoke profile, the smoke flavor between using the two different types of pellets. So a pretty interesting video. If you haven't had a chance to see it, go to Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue. It's up on the YouTube channel right now. It'll be up on the website pretty soon. I do have a few excerpts that I did want to show to kind of give an example, an illustrated example of what we were seeing when we were putting these two up against each other. And as I get that queued up, feel free to leave a comment, let me know with regard to pellets. If you do use a pellet grill or a pellet smoker, do you have a go-to brand? Is there one that you think is better than another? We'd love to hear that in the comments as well. All right, so let's start off. First, let me give you a look at what the pellets in the smoking pecan pellets, what they look like. So as you can see here, if you're familiar with most pellets, most of the time they're much lighter. They have a much lighter look than this. So it was pretty pleasing to me to see that, these pellets were much darker. And I think you can attribute that to the fact that they are made from the pecan shells. So that was, I'd like to see that for sure. And then just for the sake of comparison, I'm going to put up this next clip. Will show at the very beginning of the clip, you'll see what the Traeger pellets look like, and you'll be able to see how their pecan pellets are considerably lighter. But then really the purpose of this video was to let you see the type of smoke that I was getting from my pellet smoker at 250 degrees. So across the board, the lower the temperature, the more smoke you should see. So 250 degrees is a pretty common smoking temperature. But let's say if I were smoking at 180 degrees, you should see even more smoke. So here with the Traeger pellets at 250, it's pretty light, not a whole lot of smoke coming through. 250 was the temperature that I was going to smoke at. That was what I set for the duration of the cook. I was doing smoked pork belly burnt ends. So we were doing that with both types of pellets. So that was how the smoke looked with the Traeger pecan pellets. And next up, I'll show you guys what the smoke looked like with the smoking pecans. And this is at the same temperature, 250 degrees. And it was a noticeable difference. Just a lot more smoke being generated from their pecans, again, from their pecan pellets, again, with them being made from 100% pecan shells. Also, there was a noticeable difference in the scent in the air. Usually when I'm smoking with my pellet smoker, it's like I said, it's usually light smoke, and no real detectable scent. But in this case, I did feel like the smoking pecan pellets, not only were they generating a pretty nice, a pretty good amount of smoke, but the scent in the air was pretty detectable as well. So I did appreciate that. So definitely more smoke was being generated with the smoking pecans. And then really the last part, the true test, comes down to the taste test. So again, did these smoked pork belly burnt ends. It was about a 4.5 hour cook for each. for both sessions. So plenty of time for them to take in a nice smoke flavor from, both types of pellets. And in the end, I wanted to see if my wife and I, especially for my wife, if we could detect a difference in the smoke profile. Because again, everything else was identical, exact same recipe, exact same rub, followed all of the same steps during the cooking process to get the pork belly burnt ends really tender, and then also glazing them with a nice sweet glaze, that's common when you're doing burnt ends. You're kind of topping it off with a good kind of a barbecue sauce and sugar based glaze. So everything was completely identical between the two cooks. And so this is what we came up with in terms of what we thought in terms of comparing the two in terms of the flavor. For me, number two, I almost feel like I don't really taste the smoke flavor.
See, I didn't want
number two.
Didn't really want to say that because I just felt like by saying less would be like enough. But yeah, it's kind of not there.
Well, yeah, no, I was gonna just say, because we've been cooking with, charcoal and stick burners,
and that brings it.
It definitely has a more prevalent smoke flavor.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't really taste the smoke flavor on number two. It's not a slight difference. Like it's a clear difference.
Right, I agree.
All right. So there was definitely a difference. So number two, which was, the one in which we could really, especially me, and I was willing to just come right out and say it, I felt like the pork belly burnt ends that were smoked with the smoking pecans definitely had a detectable and nice smoke flavor to them. So they did bring a nice, good smoke flavor. Whereas when comparing them to the burnt ends that were smoked with the Traeger pellets, I really couldn't taste the smoke flavor at all. Now, granted, my taste buds are a little, they've kind of adapted, because I do most of my barbecuing on my charcoal based cookers. And then when I have time, I'm using my stick burner where I'm getting a definite smoke profile. And, I'm just kind of used to when I do use my pellet smoker, I'm kind of knowing going in that I'm not going to get the same smoke profile that I do off of those other cookers. In this case, I could taste the smoke flavor used off of the smoking pecan version. So that was nice. And the Traeger, not so much. And it didn't really surprise me because, again, early on when we were looking at those videos of the smoke that was coming off of the cooker, the smoke coming out of the back, there was a noticeable difference. Again, the smoking pecans were getting a lot of smoke, as we see here. But then when we were using the Traeger-based pellets, just not the same, not as much smoke coming off. Again, this is both at 250 degrees. So again, and I wish, that Smoking Pecans was able to provide me with an affiliate link, because I would wholeheartedly recommend their brand. And I do anyway, even though I don't have an affiliate link. Again, I'm not going to make any money if you decide to go to their website and order a box of their pellets from them. This is just me sharing, my own experience, and, I'm sold. So, I have a whole bunch of a whole bunch of pellets in my garage right now, but none of them have, you know, compared to the experience from the smoking pecan. So I know that that'll be something that I use moving forward. Now, in terms of, you know, other brands, there are certain brands where I think it's easier to verify that they are using the type of wood that they say that they're using on the bag. There are two brands in particular that I would recommend. One of them is Lumberjack. I can't confirm 100%, but I'm pretty certain that, you know, if they say that if you're getting apple pellets, I think you generally are getting apple pellets when you're using Lumberjack or Cherry or Hickory. And then another brand that I recommend is Cooking Pellets. I think they're most known for their Amazing. I think it's the Amazing Cooking Pellets, which is like a blend of, I want to say it's hickory, apple, and maple. It may be something else. I might be getting them mixed up, but it's, you know, it's like 3 or 4 different types of pecan or different types of pellets that are in the same, you know, bag, and you're cooking them together, with the idea being that that'll give you a nice balance of smoke flavor. But then you can also buy like a strictly bag of hickory or apple or cherry or some, you know, just if you just want one type of pellet in the bag, you can also get that from Cooking Pellets as well. So those are two that I recommend. Unfortunately, I think both of them, you have to order them direct from their website. Smoking Pecan, shipping was pretty quick. You know, I think I probably got it, you know, maybe a couple of days after they said they would send a sample box to me. And the prices were pretty fair. I want to say they were in the $20 range, and shipping is not too bad. So I think that's something to definitely look at. So just Google them if you want to check them out. And then the cooking pellets, most of the time, I think you can get them on Amazon, but I think you probably get your best deals if you buy it direct from their website. And then I like to take advantage of occasionally they have these bulk deal offerings where you can buy like 6 or 7 bags, you know, and it can be a different variety, and you can save some money that way. So I've got a whole bunch of their pellets in my garage right now. So I'm pretty well stocked up, but I'm going to also add some smoking pellets to my arsenal to go along with it. So, but that's basically what I wanted to cover. Again, if you guys don't have any questions or comments, then we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. But again, do want to thank everyone for tuning in. Also, let's see, if you did want to get more information just in general about, you know, how to pick out a grill or smoker, a lot of times, you know, the first thing you should do is decide, you know, what type of fuel is best for my situation. So I have a guide that you can get for free. Just go to backyardsmokemaster.com/smoker, and you can download a copy. And it's a pretty good write-up that will give you some information that compares what can you expect if you're thinking about getting a pellet, you know, cooking with pellets versus charcoal versus electric smokers versus gas and a stick burner. So it gives you a good description on each of the different fuel types. And again, Once you make that decision, that goes a long way towards helping you figure out what type of grill or smoker is going to be best for your situation. So go ahead and go to that website, go to the website and grab your copy. All right, so we're going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. This is Kenyatta Robinson at the Backyard Smokemaster Barbecue Podcast. Tune in every week, every Friday at the same time. We're live on the website, on YouTube, on Facebook, and then we can also be accessed on your favorite podcast player at any time. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great weekend. Get out there, enjoy your grills and smokers, and we'll see you soon.